I'm with Burt Rosen from Knox Area Rescue Ministries, KARM. Burt, tell us about KARM.
KARM has been around since 1960. A handful of local pastors got together in response to what was the growing number of homeless people that were coming off the trains and the buses in the downtown area. And way back then, you had that group that were beginning to show up and knock on the doors of local churches. So they thought there needed to be a better response for that. KARM was incorporated and we've been around ever since, and by God's grace, we're still here all these years later. KARM provides emergency overnight shelter. We provide a meal for anyone who needs it, and we offer a broad array of services, everything from initial intervention to someone's on the street seeking services, all the way through to long-term recovery for men, women, from drugs and alcohol, as well as for those who are fleeing domestic violence. We do that on this campus here, and we have a separate campus for the women.
How did you get involved with KARM?
The reason that I'm really here is our oldest son, Matthew, dropped out of Virginia Tech in his third year, ended up homeless on the streets and disappeared what has now been 21 years ago. A year into his disappearance, I got a call asking me if I'd be interested in the position here at KARM, and I said, no, I'm not interested. Number one, Knoxville's not on the radar screen. If I'm going somewhere, I'm going back to South Beach where I grew up. But number two, the pain and anguish in having a homeless son is more than I think I could bear, and I just don't think I could go anywhere and work with that particular population. They asked one simple phrase, would you be willing to pray about it? I said, yes, of course I did, and now here I am.
How does KARM fit in with, you have the Salvation Army here, Volunteer Rescue Ministries as well, and each provides a slightly different service when it comes to homelessness. Can you please explain that?
If you take a look at what is typically defined as the categories of homelessness, you have situationally homeless, episodically homeless, and chronically homeless. Situational is that those who find themselves in an unusual situation. It's unusual, it's a situation. We provide those services here. Take it all the way through to the chronically homeless, and we serve all of those underneath this roof. The Salvation Army also provides services through their bootstrap program and some of the other things that they offer as well, but we are not duplicating our service. And of course, Volunteer Ministries Center offers permanent supportive housing as the primary focus for them. And this dates back to the earliest days of Knoxville and Knox County's 10-year plan to end chronic homelessness, where there were 9 key strategies put in place, and each of the different agencies downtown identified where their sweet spot or their niche would be. So we provide those emergency overnight services, and then we will refer to the Salvation Army and VMC when we have people coming through here who could most benefit from their services.
You kind of touched on this with that answer, but when you think about homelessness, and oftentimes people think, well, they just go get a job. But it's a lot more, in many cases, it's a lot more than that. What are the contributing factors, especially to chronic homelessness?
One of the challenges that we face is affordable housing. And when you're serving parents and families, where both were income producing, trying to get 2 people back to work and generating enough income to get into housing that they can afford is a major challenge. But we've also watched what has happened with the economy, making that more difficult. There's a lack of affordable housing here in our community that just significantly increases that challenge there. But with the prevalence and ease with which people can get street drugs, we've watched that just skyrocket through the roof, where homelessness has become a significant substance abuse problem. And when we closed Lakeshore, we saw a significant increase in the number of those who really needed mental health treatment were now on the streets and were showing up at our doors as well. And I don't know that we've ever recovered from that. And so we as a community have felt the impact of that.
There's other changes happening as well. We've entered into agreement with the city. We actually own the old outpatient surgery center at St. Mary's now, and are converting that into not only an urgent care, but also a mental health urgent care as well. And hopefully that will not only help with mental health issues, but also, again, one of the overall goals is to alleviate the stress on the hospital system by diverting those folks away from the hospitals to someplace where they can more adequately meet their needs, and less expensively as well.
No, absolutely. So I think it's a great idea that you're doing there. and I think it's going to have a profound impact on this community. There are so many people in this community that are struggling with mental health challenges right now that anything any of us can do to help alleviate that is a win for everybody.
Well, thank you for giving us an idea of what you do here, because I do believe a lot of folks think that this is just an overnight shelter. And it's so much more than that, and the work you do here is so important to our community. So thank you very much for sitting down with us, and thank you for everything that KARM does.
It was my pleasure, and thank you for the support that you offer us as well. Couldn't do it without you.